Hey guys, I hope you're well. I have sent some printables on ahead so we can decorate some eggs. So these are something we can do tons of different designs with. And if you want to do them in black and white to start with, you could send them to, if you have grandkids or kids in the family, or adults. I mean, who doesn't like to color in sometimes? Because coloring in is relaxing, and so is doodling. So today we're gonna just basically doodle in these are gonna be our practice pages. And I started at or practice or just doodling, relaxing pages. And then when you finally like a design, then you can start off doing the big design on a big egg if you'd like. And then you can frame that or send it to someone or whatever you want. If you take a picture of it, then you can send it via email. So I've started some. These are just for fun. Now, if you're doing this in Sharpie, can you see that? It goes right through. So have a extra page underneath. Also, make sure you have a scratch paper. So let's say one of our designs on the egg is some basic lines. One of the designs can be this right here. Can you see this one? And I'll do it bigger right here, just on a piece of scratch paper to start with. And basically, it's lines, say about 4 to 5 lines, your choice. Say my egg stops there. And this is the end of my egg there. So you would start in the corner and do this at a diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. Then you start in this corner and do 5 more lines. 3, 4, 5. And then you start again. One, 2, 3, 4. I don't like that. What did I do last time? You know what I did last time? To break it up. Let's do this again. Let's say that's just an experiment. Well, the cool thing is if you do something you don't like, change it. It's okay. It's okay. Say I want to just change this one, but I don't want to scrap it all together. Just change the idea. Say, oh, that's intentional. I meant to do that. Right? Doodling is fine. But okay, so let's start this one over. I'm going to start this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it just keeps repeating. This is where my egg, it's a crazy egg. This is just an experiment, right? So on these practice pages, I'm calling them practice pages, I'm just gonna experiment on those. And I did there. I feel like it worked out better there. So do you remember, some of us had worked on some of these before. It's just like scales. It's kind of like a C scale. You can practice on a piece of paper first before you go to your egg, if you'd like. The idea there is when you're making your bumps, you want to make sure that you start your bump next row in the space between. on top of that bump to the next bump, on top of that bump to the next bump, to the next bump, okay? And you continue like that. It didn't have to be perfect. When you continue the pattern, it ends up looking pretty cool. Your eye doesn't go to one specific thing. Now, if they're staying, you know, that rounded, it all looks the same. If you do something square or something zigzaggy, then your eye does look at that. The cool thing about this is then after, say, you've done an egg full of those and you finished them up, say you have a line where you stop or you finish at the bottom of the egg, you can fill these in if you'd like to in different ways. Say I want to go just continue a pattern, so I'm going to loop, loop, loop in here. Say if I did that to all of them, the next one on the next row is going to be, I call this the window. This little inset is like a window. That's what I'm calling it. Then you want to do on the inset inside this window. See how mine aren't perfect? That's okay. You can be perfect if you'd like. I'm just doing this real quick to give you an idea. But if it's not perfect, it's okay. So say you did a bunch of those. The next thing you can do, if you'd like, is fill it in, darken it in. If this is going to be a coloring page for later on, you don't have to. You can color it in with a color. If you want this to be black, that's fine, and then it can still be colored in with colors. Now, I'm using a Sharpie. You don't have to. If you want to use the thick end of the Sharpie, you can. Some Sharpies have a thin end also, a thin point. You can even use a pencil to start with and then turn into a pen of any kind of inking. It's up to you. And if you want to do a dark, thick marker and a pen, that's okay, because then it changes the look altogether. So you can have thick and thin. And it changes the look altogether. So I'm just showing you as an example. Okay, so I'm sure you can look up a variety of different designs. Some zigzags, you can add flowers with zigzags, plaid patterns, just some basics. So if you're sending this off to someone that you want to color in, or just print it off for yourself, copy and print it off for yourself for later, you can. Some other designs that look very Easter or spring, some people don't do Easter, let's just say spring, are like some designs we've learned at some other days were naturistic looking designs. Say some zigzags first. Maybe you want it to look like there's a leaf inside of it. Anything you do, it's best to just repeat that so it becomes a pattern. So if you do make a mistake, that's okay. Repeat it, and then it becomes a pattern. So say these are just going to be little stems to be flowers. So you want to do some repetition so you have, again, a pattern. So if you're going to do a little bitty flower, you can do simple, like these are just the most basic flowers ever. You can do little and big, or all the same size. It's up to you. Don't forget to put little leaves on your stems. They can all look different, and if you'd like, some of these can be behind the others. just like in nature, you're gonna see some behind each other. I'm actually just scribbling these out to show you. You can practice this and make it look really pretty if you'd like. And if you'd like to do some little vines that come down, whatever you want. Play with it. But so let's do one of these that got a little water on it. This is going to be a step-by-step. Step one is just an arch. So let's say I want to do this little one here in an egg. We're going to start with step one, then add a little bit more each time. Sorry about the water spill. But let's do this little flower in this practice egg here. My first step is some arches. And feel free to alter any of the designs. This is yours. I did 2 rows of these arches. Now I'm going to add some loops. The inside arch of the flower and then the outside arch of the flower. If you want to, you can do the outside first so you don't run out of space. Then my next step, I'm gonna do a little archy arch right here. Sorry about the commercial in the background. That's kind of funny. It's because I'm doing a live video. Now the next step is some lines in there, inside. So some step-by-step lines. Pause this video at any time you'd like to practice. And then step 5 is gonna have some little scallops around the outside edges of the flower. Some just scallops. So remember, you can pause this video and replay it as often as you want. If you like some of these designs, or if you want to pause it on one of these pictures here. I've got a variety of other pictures for you in just a bit. Okay, so now I like this, but I feel like I want to break it up a little bit with a little bit thicker line here and there. You don't have to, it's up to you. So I like the thin line, the thick line look. And then say when this is colored in, one of your favorite colors here, and then bring that same color possibly over here. Just kind of bring your eye around. Change up the colors as often as you want. Now there's some ideas. Say for example, you want to do like a rose in the middle of one. I think I'll go with I'll go with a pen. It's like a little twisty spiral. I'm gonna kind of start in the middle here. Do my little scallop leaves, petals on the outside. And the same idea here is on the inset. You're gonna start on the top here and go to the outer top there and just add your petals all the way around and fill it in as full as you want. the outer side of the flower of a rose is usually a little more wavy. The petals have folded out, so they're a little bit wavier. So I want to say end it there, and then I want to have a couple leaves. So say I want the flower there, but then I might want to just repeat a little bit of movement around it, just as a design element. You can, you don't have to. Another way to do it is do a little bit more simple flower, and that would be start loopy here, and you can do a little bit more pointed. Whoops, that's kind of messed up. It's okay. Then if I continued that all the way around, that could be a repetitive pattern as well, kind of like this, but it's a different shape. So I'm kind of doing it this at an angle so that you can see. So it's hard for me to do this. I'm leaning over to draw. This is not directly in front of me just because of the camera's kind of in the way. Anyway. So then you're repeating a pattern that becomes pretty cool. However you want to do it. That's an idea. Let's see here. I'm going to show you a couple cool designs I found on Pinterest. I like how they incorporated a heart and a variety of different flowers around the edges. That's for their big design. That's pretty cool. Now this one is pretty basic, but when you put it all together, that looks cool. So these are leaves. I'm gonna start one of those maybe. So I would say start with your lines first on that. Again, I'm leaning over so that I'm not in the way of the camera. You can have whatever space you want. If you like this one, if you like bits and pieces of different ones, you can have part of this design in your egg and part of another design. Really like the flower at the bottom there. To say we're doing this one for now, if you like it. Another space. So you can do some of your bigger elements in here. I'm gonna do the arch here. Sometimes you want to maybe start with the pencil. Let me get one. Only reason I want to do that is because I want to do these little round circles here, and I want to make sure I'm putting it in the right spaces. So just as a guide, I might say a little something I can erase. See that? Then I'm going to follow my guide with some little circles, is pretty much what they have there. Is it in camera view? Then the loops. You can make it however you want. I didn't make it as big as they made theirs. I think I'll add an extra little line for mine. Now you can leave your spaces in there blank just to color in, or you can add circles or zigzags in there. But this one here looks like they did some loops upside down and right side up. So I'm gonna start with this one. See what I mean? Something like that. We have a double line. So they're doing the lines on the inside too. They did repeat those lines, and then they did an inside line, and then they did loopy, and then some lines. Analyze it like you want. Pause it if you'd like. So I'm gonna do my little loopy in here. Inside. And take your time if you like. I'm not taking my time right now. I'm just kind of doodling fast here. So I wanted to show you something. See how I kind of went below my line? It's not a big deal. If I make a mistake by going below my line, then just repeat it. So I'll just repeat that all the way across so it looks intentional, because it's not a big deal. You see what I'm saying? It's your design. You can choose what you're gonna do with it. Sorry about the squeaking. Now this is a little art project that doesn't require a lot of material. Obviously a pen or a marker, a piece of paper, printer paper. That's what this is, printer paper. Or I can do it on a drawing pad. And if you have a drawing pad, you can end up keeping all your sketches. That's kind of fun. You can order some on Amazon and then just collect all your doodles. Maybe even date them so you can see how long we've been in quarantine. And you can go back to all your doodles and pick and choose portions of your doodles that you like and incorporate them into the next drawing picture that you've created. If you're quarantined with someone, maybe you do a drawing, just the black and white, and they color it in, and vice versa. Or maybe you work together. Maybe somebody does the top portion and someone does the bottom portion. Doesn't matter. It's fun. Okay, the next segment would be, of this particular drawing, is the basic flowers. Similar to that. I did mine a little bit fatter, but then I'm gonna go ahead and do my basic circle with my pencil, and I can erase it later. They did about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's maybe start. Maybe I'll do mine in the middle. Obviously, some of these are going to go off the outer edge of the egg. Okay. So I just penciled it in some little circles. Can you see it? Because they did, if you can see this, hopefully you can see it well, some little circles around the big circle. So that's what I was doing, just to kind of give me a guide. I'm just using my Sharpie. You could use your pen. I'm gonna color them in later. I usually try to do all of the elements repetition first and then move on to the next type of element. Although this one I did stop. I didn't do the rest of the lines in there. Pause the video as often as you'd like and repeat the video. Hopefully I've showed you a variety of pictures that you can see. All right, then after I did all those, I'm going on to the petals of that particular drawing. Let's see. Do it this way. They did about 4. Whoop. You can even pencil those in as well. Depends on how big you want to get it. And then duplicate it on the outside. However you want to do it. You don't have to do it identical to that picture.
A comforting repetition of waves. Waves of... Wait, that's a muddy puddle splashing all over your clothes.
Another
Stains
commercial.
can ruin any moment. Get them out with Tide, America's #1 detergent. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide.
I'm just listening to Spotify. Do y'all have any favorite music you're listening to right now? Any TV shows? All right, that's not exact, but that's what I did. See, it's okay. I mean, I think it's okay to do my own thing. This whole doodling thing is just for relaxation anyway. So repetition, repetition, create a pattern. Those are some ideas. Now keep in mind, you can continue like that if you like. It's just bigger leaves, or you can move on to some other designs. Again, like I said, I do really like this one. It's a little bit more of like a Zen tangle. Really like this down here. They did color in some areas with black. It breaks it up a lot. Some areas are more bold and some areas are thin. So you might want to use your two-sided marker or a pen and a marker. Here I did some basic flowers here. Circle and just build your way out. Experiment. Print off. Hopefully you can print off a variety of these and just play with it. Pinterest has tons of choices. Say if I wanted to change this one up, I could do something like really like a plaid, or color it in to make it a check. Just turn it. Do whatever you want. I would like to see some of the pictures you guys do. If you want to take a picture of them and just post it, that'd be great. Some other things you could do is just experiment with, like I said, just movement, just waves or zigzags or whatever. Say you have some waves or zigzags. You could possibly, inside of the waves, add some design. So maybe circles on your waves, and then keep waving. And if you make a line you don't like, that's okay. If you can, just repeat it again. If you repeat it, it looks intentional, then it's a pattern. These I didn't do perfect, but it turns out to be a pattern. Basically, when you just keep repeating, you turn back and it ends up looking intentional. Inside there, if you'd like to add little dots too and little circles, so you've got big ones and little ones. Create some different designs. Doodle inside your egg to where it's comfortable and relaxing for you. because you really don't want to stress out about it. Hopefully this is a relaxing, comfortable type of exercise. And if you're able to, then just take a picture afterwards and send it. See if you can edit it to where it's black and white, and then send it to your friends. I'll let you draw. I'm gonna keep doodling here. Wow, I get it the other way that way. Just keep playing, keep having fun. If you're up for another design, have a piece of scratch paper. See how many dots? Can you tell it goes through? So you definitely want it layered up. Some ideas. In a smaller scale, It's very similar to the lines that we did, that we practiced. Try it a little more curved. Should be going back and forth, opposite direction. About the same number of lines. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So about 5 or 6, depending on the space that you have. So it's just repetition. So you can do that inside of one of your spaces of your eggs. So maybe if you draw some lines and you decide to do it, it would be in a curve or a straight line. You can have straight lines on your eggs. Say in your line, right next to it, you want to have maybe not a line, but maybe something, a different shape. You can do whatever you want in that shape. But remember, when you repeat it, it becomes a pattern. So try to repeat whatever you're doing. Here I'm just doing the zigzags like underneath and on top. And you can also color in if you like. Kind of get creative. What if it's fun to color these in and you come back and want to add to it? Maybe the outside of these needs some dots. You can do that. If you feel like, oh, it looks a little blank and boring, think about adding dots and say maybe, I'm not sure I like how this maybe ended. What if you decide you want to do scallops on the outside of that? So if you have some empty spaces, you're not sure what to do, think about adding dots, adding scallops, or adding small zigzags. Whatever you end up doing, do it intentionally. So look, how do I want to add to that? Possibly, remember dots. You can even do dots on the inside. These are little scallops with dots inside. What if I want to add dots on the outside, on the inset of the curve. Pause the video and practice as often as you want. Say now, be breaking it up. Think about zigzags. Like I said earlier, you could add zigzags to the outside of any of your lines. And if you like say the naturistic look on the inside of these, you can go add a little flower every so often, if you like. Again, I'm at an angle, so it's not looking perfect. I want to see how creative you can get. I would love to see some of your work. Now, take your time. I'm just kind of scribbling this in. What if a zigzagged opposite on the other side of that line? You can do that. You can do whatever you want. It's a little bit bigger. Another fun thing to add is hearts. If you like hearts, maybe flowers and hearts. It's okay to have bigger blank spaces if you want. Check me out. I actually added too many of these, but that's okay. What if I want to continue that and just change it up in there? Because I changed my pattern over there. That's okay. I want you to just keep playing, keep practicing, see how many it all goes through. So you definitely want to do that. The other fun thing is if you happen to have a picture of anyone a profile pic, take a picture of yourself. You know what's kind of fun is to then draw just the outline of a person's face and doodle inside of that, like we did with the eggs. It's kind of fun. Anyway, I want you to have fun with it. You can make zigzags, color some in with color after you've done all your black and whites. Do some practicing, pause the video, see which designs you like, and really just let your brain go. Keep practicing. And maybe when you're done, you can take pictures of it, like I said, and send those off to someone to have them color it in. Anyway, I hope you had fun with this little egg decorating project. Hope you're staying safe. Take care.